Ukrainian men dragged from their homes to die in war, while the women get to go party in Poland. Call HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. That's giving all praise to the Most High. In the name of His only begotten Son. In the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers, the elders, and apostles, the great millstone, who taught us His truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. Shalom to 144,000. As you see in this clip, I'm finished playing this video. But it says, Ukrainian men dragged from their homes to die in war, while the women get to go party in Poland. All right, and you see this individual, he's getting dragged out of his house. You've seen videos like this all over the internet where they're pulling people in, these vans off of the street, dragging them out of their homes, dragging them out of their jobs. All right, and this is what life is like in a wartime for men. Okay, your life is not your own. Your body is not your own. You get drafted and shipped off to go die in a war that had nothing to do with you. But this is what these women are doing while men are being dragged off into war, as they were hollering about equal rights.
Early this morning, when you knocked upon my door, early this morning, when you knocked upon my door.
Which does show you that this world is completely against men. Alright? Look at this, they're dragging this guy. They literally dragging him out of his house. The dog trying to fight for him. Okay? It shows you this world is against men. Okay? It says, yo, feminists, where you at? Is this the men privilege I keep hearing about? Yes, equality. Only equal rights when it benefits women. Look at this madness. Feminist scrolling past. As a man, we need more dogs. At least they were loyal at the end. They are loyal at the end. The dog is the only creature that cares about the man's well-being, right? And that's unfortunate. Somebody said, thank the juice box. You know what that means. Your dog trying to stop them. Ukraine. Okay, so you see, people catching on, man. After war, they will replace him with African men. Hey, man. So yeah, we in that time. All right, let's give a few precepts to make this real quick. I'm gonna make this too long. And I had some videos to premiere yesterday. They didn't premiere for whatever reason. YouTube been tripping lately, man. So Lord, when they premiere today, which means you might get an extra influx of videos, so lock you for that. I don't mean to spam the feed, but we got to make up for yesterday, the videos I didn't post. They was up there, but for whatever reason they didn't premiere. We in hell, all right. But let's go over here. It says, starting with this right here, it says Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. It says in A and P, proclaim this among the pagan nations, prepare a war. And that's what these nations are doing. They're preparing a war. This is why they snatching men up and pulling them out of their houses. And this is coming to America. Once all the military age fighting men are gone, all right, dead over there, they're going to come for the younger men, the older men. Okay, they're going to come for your daughters as well here in this country, man. All right? And we telling you this to ad nauseum, to warn you of the time we're coming into. So you can't say you ain't know. We're just a mouthpiece of YAHAWASHI, but your sons are going to get shipped off to die in these wars, man. Okay? And in certain cases, even your daughters. All right? It's about to get real bad and real uncomfortable here in America and around the world already. All for greater Israel. Right? So people are picking up on what's going on. People understand what's happening, man. And now what people are starting to bite back against the small hats. All right? They're being found out. They're being searched out. All right? It says, stir up the mighty men. And that's what's happened. They're stirring up the mighty men, which these men don't want to fight. They don't want to go to war. Okay, but they're fighting these young men, okay, who are capable of fighting, and they're sending them off there to war. It says, let all the men of war come near, let them come up. And this is what they're doing. They're gathering these men up, training them up for war, putting the gear on them, and sending them out there to go die for Israel. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. Yeah, these weak countries are now being made strong because what they're getting weapons as well. Instead of them investing in their country, they're investing in destroying another country. And a lot of these, if not all of these nations that have nukes, they have them aimed at America. It says, hurry and come, let all your surrounding nations gather and gather yourselves. So like, hurry and come, all you surrounding nations, and gather yourselves there. Bring down, O Lord, your mighty ones, your warriors. Let the nations be stirred to action. And you got people that were born in vain, born, you know, just to be in this war. You got people that were born just to go die in these wars, man. Okay? A lot of you men were born just to go die in these wars, and that's why the Lord has not shined his light upon you, because this ain't for you. A lot of you are just pawns in YAHAWASHI's movie to bring forth, great death and destruction upon the unbelievers. It says, let the nations be stirred to action and come to the valley of Jehoshaphat. So that's what's happening. You know, they're talking about Ukraine and Gaza and Iran. Well, eventually all these nations are going to send their men of war to fight in the valley of Jehoshaphat, okay, which is that so-called Middle East region, all right, the Levant, where, these nations are going to gather and they're going to fight, and then the Lord's going to crack the sky and shut, Esau's showdown, man. It says, for there I will sit to judge and punish all the surrounding nations. So if you get sitting off to that war and you end up in the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is Yahweh Shaphat, Yahweh's judgment, you're going to be getting judged there. You're going to be, and that's going to be your grave. That's going to be where you die at, man. So a lot of these men that's getting dragged off to war, like this video right here, he getting dragged off, man. He understands that he might not come back. He understands that this might be his last time seeing his house. Okay, this is a reality for men. Okay, this is a reality for men. All right, while these women out here, can do what the fuck they please and being promiscuous and, whores, this is what men have to go through. All right, it's not right, bro. Okay, it says, oh, this is good. It says, put ye in the sickle of judgment, for the harvest is ripe. Come tread the grapes, for the winepress is full. The vats overflow, for the wickedness of the people is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. Judgment, right? So multitudes and multitudes of men are going to be sent over there into that region, man. Okay? Whether it's willingly or by force. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision, when judgment is executed. So judgment is about to be executed. And that's why these nations, I went into it last week, how Germany is saying they're not letting their military age men leave for a period of time. They're telling them, oh yeah, you can't leave. You got to stay in the country in case we need to draft you. Down here in America, they telling people, oh yeah, it's gonna be an automatic draft. All right, meaning they're gonna pick your name at random or something and just throw you out there, and they might just start picking everybody's names. The whole class of 2026, all the males just going to war. Okay. The son, you ain't even got your first piece of poontang yet, and you already going over there to die for Israel. And this is why it's a blessing that we got this truth, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, man. Okay. So yeah, let me go right here too, though. Riches got. Let's grab that too, because this is how these devils stay in power, how they got in power, and how they stay in power. Let's read this first, though. It says, it's 2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse, getting right to the point. It says, verse 33, it says, the virgin shall mourn having no bridegrooms, the woman shall mourn having no husbands, their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. In the wars their bridegrooms shall be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Yeah, I went into it last week too, how you got those military men in America on those warships. They're rationing food, they feeding them prison scraps. You look like prison food. They're gonna run out of food over there and be out there fighting on the empty stomach and dying on the empty stomach. It says, now hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Yeah, you got to understand these words, man, that we telling you. Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. All these false gods telling you it's going to be okay. Hey, you've been led astray. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son. With 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not but a moment. So it's going to be like, a woman that's, going into labor, how these birth pains are speeding up, man. It's getting more and more, evident that YAHAWASHI is through with this place, man. So yeah, this is what's going on. This is why there's going to be an influx of women as well too. Okay, Scripture says 7 women shall take hold of 1 man. All right, because all the men are going to get dragged off into these wars. Okay, some of them might go willingly thinking that they're going to go over there and fight and come back, but you ain't coming back, man. That's why it's important to understand prophecy. This is the last war. This is the war of Armageddon. Okay, it ain't no coming back from this. So men that have wives here on the side, children and whatnot, they're going to leave their wives and their children to go over there and die, and they're not going to be able to defend their wives and their children, man. All right? And that's going to happen before shit really gets bad out here. A lot of these men are going to get drafted into that war, and it's going to be no men over here. It's going to be it's going to be a shortage of men in America. All right, let me grab one more though before I go. I was going to grab it. Richest. Yep, this is Ecclesiastes. No wonder it didn't pop up. Ecclesiastes 8. And so look, Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. You know that these elites, these small hats, the Jewish people, they fund both sides of these wars. This is how they get rich, man. While your sons and daughters are dying in these wars, they're getting buku rich off of these wars. It says the kingdom is translated from one people to another, and this is how they want to make, as that comment said, this is about the Greater Israel Project. This is how they plan to make Israel greater, destroying anybody that could contest against them. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. These devils can never have enough. It says, for such an one setteth his own soul to sell, because while he liveth, he cast away his vows. And these wicked elites, they want you to bow down and worship their beast system. They want you to sell out to them. They want you to see them as God. You have to go die for the small hats. Mind your business. You got to go die for the small hats, man. Okay? And that's all around the world. That's not just here in America. That's all around the world. Even in Ukraine. When they were sending them Ukrainians to go fight and die, they was dying for small hats too. Okay? So, hey, man. You've been warned. Ain't no excuse. Jake, time to snap out of it. For those of you Jakes that rejected this truth and rather, not serve YAHAWASHI, you're going to serve somebody, and it's going to be this damn devil in these wars, man. He's going to ship you off to die out there, all right? So get ready to see a mass influx of men getting shipped to war, and if those ones that do get shipped to war, they ain't coming back, man. Shalom, I'm coming to our love, ball.